All right, guys, about 3 weeks ago, I was in Vientiane, Laos getting my Thai ED visa. Now, I've been planning this out for a while because, like many of you, this is kind of a semi-long-term thing. If you want to stay in Thailand, you got to get the visa stuff. There's just no way around it. And of course, many people take the education visa options. In my case, I'm studying Thai. I didn't really want to do Muay Thai or anything like that. So the school that I signed up at, they recommended that I go to Vientiane. And from what I hear, from what I gather, it's because other consulates, other embassies, they are more difficult to secure the ED visa, and you're exponentially more likely to encounter problems, issues, additional verifications, whatever, and even get rejected. So they basically gave me two options. It was just go to Vientiane and get it done in a couple days, or Vietnam is also another relatively hassle-free option with a good success rate, but that would take 4 days. Now there are some other like blog articles and stuff written about the technicals and the nitty-gritty of what exactly all documents you should take and how to get it done. So me, in this video, I just want to talk more about my experience. In addition to that, I will link to the blog article that I found most accurate. A blogger by the name of Phoebe Storm. I don't know who this person is, but I read like 3 different ones, and that one seemed the most spot on. So I booked my ticket. I'm staying in Bangkok. It was easy to get there. I booked it well in advance. It wasn't expensive. When I got in, I took the bus from the airport to my hostel, and I would recommend that actually. I don't think there's any need to take a taxi. The taxis are like $7, but when you get in and take the bus, it's like $1.50. And the place is tiny. Like, you don't need a taxi to take you exactly to where you want to go, because there's a very good chance the bus is going to stop within 5 minutes of where you're staying. So I would check that out. And it's like a new bus service that they opened, and I would recommend it. I stayed at a hostel. I stayed at a hostel because I wanted to mix it up. I don't know if I'll do that again because it's just the vibe that I get there. The people that are there, they're not my people. I'm not saying I'm better or worse than them. That's not my crowd. So I would prefer to either be on my own or be around people who are more into what I'm doing. But those are just a lot of backpackers basically. A lot of hipsters, people like that. So that's fine. That's just a different phase or cycle. But moving past that. I just wanted to give you guys the logistics, like how I got in there and where I stayed. And yeah, so I did take a tuk-tuk there. Yeah, this one thing that was mentioned is they'll try to rip you off. They'll show you a sign that says like X amount of dollars to make it seem legit because it's printed on a card. Don't take that price. It's actually much lower. I'm pretty sure it's mentioned in the article that I will link to below. So just don't fall for that one. Now I got there slightly before the opening time, and there was a good size line. It wasn't massive or anything, but it did take, oh man, at least an hour. I can't remember that well, but it was a long time. It was a good long way. It was long enough for you to not to forget how long you're even there. The other thing I did was, when you take all your documents. Oh, so this is a good piece of information. It's much easier, in my opinion, to just have those people there next to the gate fill it out for you. You have to pay them like 100 baht. I took my photos, but I lost them, so I had to pay them like another 100 baht to get the photos as well as have them fill out my paperwork. Now they try to, man, I hate when people do this. And these are the kinds of things that make me not feel bad for places that are, let's just say, unprosperous, like Laos. They try to rip you off for like small, stupid stuff like $1. And I'm like, bro, that's the kind of mindset mentality that's the reason why you're where you're at. But anyways, I don't want to make this sound too negative. What they'll do to you, and it's kind of a cheap shot because, you really need that visa and you have to get it done during, that hour or two, is they'll say, oh, you're missing something. Oh, you're missing a document. Where's this one? And they'll have like a stack or something to make it seem like this is the template. And they're doing a good job, of trying to trick you, and you're already under stress, so you can just cave in and give them some extra money. And what they'll say is, oh, my homeboy, he works here on the inside. I can get it done for you. Don't worry. Even if you're missing that paper, it's all good. And I think you could fall for it, The only reason I didn't is because I've just been tricked so many effing times. I get tired of it. And that's why you can tell in my voice I'm a little bit frustrated just at the thought of having to deal with it again. But just like that 1 or 5%, like, I don't know, just something didn't seem right. It's one of those things where, like, you're trusting your gut a little bit. I'm like, this guy's full of shit. Like, you can smell it just a little. So I was like, you know what, man, give me my stuff, bro. Like, I'm getting out of here. And anyway, so I just took my stuff. It was fine. Like I said, that guy was full of it. They didn't mention anything about any kind of missing paper. Now, as far as currency goes and, payments, they're quite generous with taking, Thai baht and US dollars. Of course, they'll take their money, but that's going to be harder to get. Also, you can't exchange that anywhere outside of Laos. So, it's kind of inconvenient. When you're going into the airport for US people, I would recommend having dollars because although they are accepting of different currencies, dollars, baht, whatever, the rates are substantially different. Try to pay in dollars when you enter at the airport. You're going to save a few bucks. And then the same thing at the embassy. Man, I got overcharged a lot because I paid in baht. So I would just take the different currencies you have and use whichever one is most advantageous. You'll be on your phone anyway. I have Google Fi, so I have like a worldwide internet plan. It's not hard for me to just check on different rates and stuff. Anyways, I went back a couple days later. It was smooth sailing. I was like the last one there. I went a little bit before it closed, and that's because I walked. Actually, I didn't want to deal with the tuk-tuks the first time when I turned in my application, so I walked back even though it took like 30-40 minutes, and then I walked there again, which is why I got there late because I didn't want to walk in the middle of the day during the hottest part of the day. And that was more or less it. One other tip for you guys. Man, I wish I was watching this video before I went there. Definitely make sure to watch this video like the day before you go or something, like immediately before you go, because this is going to be helpful. Okay, so the Super Bowl was on the same morning when I had to turn in my application, or it was like the semifinals, the divisional round. That is actually irrelevant. The thing though is I could have watched those games. If you go later, when like 30 minutes before they close, there's no line, there's no one there. It's like they have that saying, the early bird gets the worm. I don't think it applies in this situation because everyone gets there at the same time. Let's just say it opens at 8. Everyone gets there at 8, and then after that, there's no one else coming in. So by the time it's like 9:30, it's cleared out. By the time I was leaving, it was empty. I saw people walking in. They went straight to the front. They didn't wait. So I would almost recommend, if I know for the highly risk averse, they'll just get there early no matter what. Like the people who stand up to line up in the plane as soon as like the bell rings or something, and they're gonna be standing there forever. But if you're like me, a little more laid back, and yeah, you can just go 30 or 60 minutes before they close, and you'll save yourself a bunch of time. So that's the last tip I got. Other than that, I will say, as far as the city itself, I don't recommend it. I won't go into too much detail about it, but the city itself it's a little bit sad, to be honest. I didn't like being there at all. The way I describe it, it's like, what is the opposite of motivation? When I go to cities like Amsterdam or Tokyo, I feel inspired. I feel motivated. Like I want to do and be a little bit more. Like those societies, they're pushing like our society as a whole forward, or they're on the edge. They're like making and doing new stuff there. Now that description that I just talked, that's like the opposite of what's going on in Vientiane. So I didn't like it. To be honest, if I had to do it again, I would not go there. If I do have to do it again in the future, I would rather spend 4 days going to Vietnam to get it done. You would think 2 days, like how much can that really drain from you? But man, like I said, it just depressed me being there. I'm sure other people might like it or whatever. To be honest, I think a lot of people just give like a semi-BS answer when they're asked about Laos. They probably think the same thing that I do, but maybe just people looking on the bright side, or they just want to give a nice report. That no one wants to like say bad things about a place. Neither do I, but at the same time, I'm compelled to be honest. So I will say that much. It's just, it's not a good place to be. So the thing also is, your flight is not going to get there early enough to make it to turn in your documents on that day. You have to fly in a day early. Also, I flew with AirAsia, and the flight when I picked up my documents, it was already too late. The flight had already gone, so I had to leave the next day. So I had to come a day early, leave a day late. It spanned 4 days anyway. And I was like, man, I should, next time I'm going to Vietnam because I've been there before and I know I'll at least semi-enjoy it. Anyways, someone's sending me a message on my business account. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But let's talk soon. You got any questions, let me know. I got free time. I'll answer them down below. To everyone else out there working online, doing it big in Bangkok or wherever else,